Hey everyone, Carl here at Gardening Solutions. Today I'm going to build a couple of these container gardens here. Basically it's a 55-gallon poly drum cut in half, and they make really good pots. They should hold up a long time here in the sun. And I built these initial 4 just to see how it would work out, and these plants have just absolutely exploded. So here I've got jalapeno pepper, I got some eggplant, I got a Roma tomato, and then they've got a bell pepper here. So again, they're working out really good. I've got 2 more barrels, so I'm going to go ahead and build 2 more of these. So let's go over that process. Here's what I'm starting with. Again, these are 55-gallon poly barrels. And locally I get these for $10 a piece. There's a company in town, they do some manufacturing. Look on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, shop around a little bit, you'll probably find some good deals on something similar. But the real key thing here is, since I'm buying them from the company that originally bought them, I know exactly what was in them. You want to make sure that whatever you get is food grade or safe. These happen to have an aloe, food grade aloe, so I'm confident that I don't have anything to worry about. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut these in half. Basically got to draw a line around the middle and then use whatever kind of saw you have to do that. Okay, here's barrel number 1, and what we're going to do is just go ahead and measure the whole thing. This one's 36 inches, so I'm just going to make a whole bunch of marks at 18 inches. So just come in at 18, make a mark. Basically just keep rolling the barrel around and doing that. I have it sitting on a trash can for a reason. You'll see in a minute. Makes it a little inconvenient, but it does alright. Okay, now let me grab some painter's tape. So if you try to scribe a line all the way around, that's going to be very difficult. So what I prefer to do is just take a little bit of painter's tape at a time and bring it across those 2 marks. I know it's probably hard to see the blue on blue here. But what you're going to find is the barrel is, it's got a little bit of a curve to it, so if you try to do a line all the way around it, it's probably not going to work very well. But this method does work pretty good. So I'll speed this up. Okay, I've got the tape on here now, and the reason I have it on this trash can has doesn't have any holes in it. You can see my line here. I know it's hard to see because of the blue on blue, but it's a lot easier when you're not behind the camera. I'm going to make a first cut, and I'm going to rotate that cut to the trash can because there's still some stuff inside this barrel, and I don't want to make a mess of that. So I'm going to let that spill into the trash can, let the barrel drain out. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and get the second one ready and we can start doing the cuts. But for now, let me just do one small cut and I'll get that drain started. So I'm going to use a circular saw. Again, you can use any kind of saw that you have available. This just works out pretty well. And I'll rotate this down. And I don't know if you can see it there, but here's stuff coming out of here. And although it's food grade and safe, it doesn't smell very good. So I'll let that one drain. I'll go ahead and get the other one started, and then we'll come back and finish those cuts. Okay, barrel number 2 is now draining. I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting this first barrel. And all I'm going to do is go ahead and set my saw blade in here and just walk around and use that tape as a guide. So it fought me at the last second there, tried to curve a little bit, so I'm going to clean this last cut up here. There we go. You can see there's a bunch of dried aloe. So the next step, I'm going to go clean this out. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to clean up this edge. Now you can use sandpaper, whatever you want to do. In fact, you don't even have to clean it, but it's got little plastic burrs on it. What I'm doing is just a little single-edged razor blade here. I'm not trying to make it perfect, just get some of these loose little plastic fibers off. Plus you can smooth out any part of the edge that doesn't look good. So I'm just going to run this around. See, this doesn't take very long. I tried sanding it, sandpaper the first time. It's a bit of a mess, and the razor blade just works so much better. But again, use what you got. So there's one already. Clean this one off, inside and out. Gonna end up with some more plastic bits and pieces here and there, but that won't hurt anything. Okay, there you have it. I got the edges cleaned up. Next thing we're going to do is drill some holes. I'm going to mark for the handles, make all the holes, put the handles on, then we'll start filling these up. Okay, for the handles, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the holes 1.5 inches down and 5 inches apart. And to get them on the opposite sides, these particular barrels, there's a seam. So I've got a seam on each side so I can tell where I'm at there. And it just so happens my painter tape is 1.5 inches deep. So all I got to do is put a piece across here. So I've got my the seam here that you probably can't see. And then I'm going to measure just 2.5 inches each way. Make a mark. So there's 1 inch. Do the same thing over here. Again, you probably can't see it, but there's a seam here. So I'm lining up off of that. So 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches. And then for the holes along the bottom, I'm going to do 8. So I'm going to do 4 real close to the bottom. So this, I can kind of feel this is actually like really close to the bottom here. I'm not going to mark all these, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 I'll use the seams as an alignment, and then I'm going to come up about 2 inches and go between those and do 4 more. So let me go get the drill set up and we'll go ahead and make these holes. Alright, I've got my holes marked. I've got a 1/2 inch drill bit in here. Now all I gotta do is start making holes. Okay, that's the handle holes. So I'm going to come down now. And again, I didn't mark these, but I'm going to go ahead and just start making holes in the bottom. I'll do 4 equal around the very bottom, and then I'll come up and do 4 more. This is just an approximation. Alright, now I'll go between these two, and I'll just come up a couple inches here. You can experiment around, you might find something that works better. This has worked out for me so far. Okay, this one's ready for a handle. I'll make holes in the other ones and then we'll come back and put a handle in there. Okay, I've adjusted the camera down to look into the barrel a little bit here. What I've got here is it's a 1/2 inch rope, approximately. It's just something I had left over. It's an old rope, in my case, so it's kind of stiff, but it works. And what I found is 20 inches, the magic number. So let me cut a 20-inch piece here. Scissors to finish it. Now I'm going to clean up the ends of the rope here. You can use a lighter or whatever to do this. Not 100% necessary, but keep the rope from fraying. Alright. Give that a second to cool. So I'll go ahead and make a single knot here in the end. See how it's stiff? It's kind of hard to make a knot with. Pull that a little bit tight. I'll loop that through my handle here. Make another knot. And if you have fresher rope, it's a little easier. Might be able to change the length that you need, but 20 inches seems to be a pretty good amount. And I'm going to just pull on that to make sure it's tight. You can see that's like an ideal handle there. So that works out really well. 5 inches across here on the 2 holes, 20-inch piece of rope, 1.5 inches down from the edge. So let me do the rope on all these bins, and then we will go ahead and start filling them up. Okay, next step, I'm going to go ahead and fill this about halfway with wood chips, and I'm going to pack them down as we go. Trying to avoid the pom-pom pieces there. They don't pack as well. So these will end up being way above those air holes. Okay, that's right about halfway. I think I'll go just one more scoop. Wood chips are cheaper than the potting mix. Okay. Bring the camera a little closer. So you can see that's right about halfway with those wood chips. So I need to go ahead and do the other 3, and then we will come back and put in the potting mix. Okay, now we're going to add some soil, potting mix. It takes right around 2 cubic feet, maybe a little less. And how much mulch to put in there, or whatever you use for the bottom. So this is a 25 quart bag, which is roughly a cubic foot. And I want to bring it up right about to the rope. Normally I wouldn't use this expensive stuff, but I got it on clearance. So got a good deal. So just about 50 quarts there. Pack it down a little bit. I had planned on 2 bags per, but I think that's pretty good. A little left in this bag. So I'm going to fill up the other 3. Then I'm going to move them to the backyard near their position, and we'll put the plants in there. I've got all the planters moved into place. I'm actually putting them out here with the other ones, so I've got 8 of them out here now. And then selected the plants. So in this case, there's going to be a jalapeno in this one. We eat a lot of jalapenos, so growing a lot of those. Put the plant into the soil. Here's a datil pepper. Mulch around the plant. So this is going to be another eggplant. And then down here is the other one I just did, where I put the support into the container. This is a pink egg tomato. So the other tomato here is aroma. This one's a pink egg, so it's kind of similar actually. But I'm hoping it does pretty good in the Florida heat. So there we go. Planter costs about $6 to make, $5 for the container, $1 worth of rope, not counting the soil or anything, because no matter what you use, you got to buy that. But you compare that to an EarthBox, which is about $35 each. It's a pretty good deal. The results are very good. So far, I'm real happy with the way these plants are growing. We'll see how they do long term. I'm going to do a property tour here real soon, and I'll try to do one about every 6 months, just show how everything's doing.